everyone, how's it going? So this is part 2 of our chicken kind of breakdown video. Of course, part 1 I showed you how to fully take your whole chicken from a whole chicken to broken down to having the legs off, the breast pieces off, the wings off, and eventually having just a carcass like this. So I also wanted to dive a little bit further and show you guys how to, I know this angle is really awkward, but I set it up for this and I didn't really want to switch the camera. So here you go. But anyways, as I was saying, guys, in that video I also mentioned that I wanted to show you guys how to fully break down your chicken leg and get it, once you break it down, you can obviously leave it as a whole piece like this, cook it up, whatever, or simply cut it in half. But I wanted to also show how to actually take the whole bone out in case maybe you want a boneless chicken leg. So that's going to be the quick topic of today's video. So in a second here, I'm going to stop cutting my own head off with the camera. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we'll get right into it. So as I previously mentioned in our last video, with actually fully breaking down the chicken, just like with the whole chicken, the individual legs kind of tell you exactly where to cut them as well. So we can see here that there's two different bones in the legs here, as you know, we have the drumstick and the thigh piece, and there's a joint right in the middle. Now, if you wanted to just, have maybe some chicken drums or thighs, you would just go ahead, there's a joint right in the middle here, and you would just simply go ahead and cut that in half, and then boom, you have two pieces. But if you want to fully take the bone out of the leg, what you do is, I like to start from the thigh, from the exposed part that we can see here. It just makes it easier to follow the line. And again, if you initially run your finger or your knife right along, you can feel that the two bones, one starts here at the thigh, it hits the joint, and then it continues into the leg, into the drumstick, onto the end here. So the easiest way to do this is just, again, simply hold your piece of chicken down flat, and again, gently run your knife right along the top of those two bones, right over the joint. Right, and you're going to want to expose that joint right in the middle, and that's step one. Now I'm going to hold it up to the camera here so we can see. So we can see I've just simply made a cut right along, and I've exposed the entire kind of length of the two bones. Now, once you can clearly see, what you want to do is you want to take the piece of bone that sits up here in the thigh piece. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. You want to take your fingers, kind of run them underneath that bone, and you're going to see that you can kind of stick your finger through like this, right? Yeah, so you can see here, guys, you can kind of stick your finger through, and then obviously gently remove your finger. You want to stick your knife in that gap and cut, again, right along the bone, and you're going to kind of expose it a little more like so. Now, at this point, you want to work away from you in cutting. You want to hold up that knife, that bone. You want to keep your knife flat up against it, and you want to gently, again, smooth motions, gently cut the meat away from the bone while also using your other hand and gently kind of pulling it away. If you need to, kind of hold the bone up so you see where you're going. And then at this point, we're going to arrive at the joint in the middle. Now, we're going to leave the joint alone for now, and we're going to do the same process along the actual drum part of the leg. We're just going to gently cut it out the top, get our finger underneath the bone, get the knife in there as well, gently cut it off. Now, you want to, little pro tip, you want to leave all the cartilage on kind of the nub of the leg here. That's not really good eats at all, and it doesn't really break down all that well. So just leave that on there, but get all the rest of the meat off of it. Now at this point, you can see here we have two bones kind of sticking up, but there's still meat attached to them. So once again, now we're going to go back to that joint, and we're going to, again, gently make smooth cuts on either side to further release the meat from the joint and the legs. And kind of flip it over, make sure you get all angles. And when you get to a point where it looks like both are kind of ready to pop out, again, you want to kind of hold both pieces of bone up follow right underneath the joint, lifting the joint ever so slightly. And you want to cut, again, right under the joint. And again, the chicken is essentially telling you where it wants to be cut. So just gently pull the bones away, work your knife underneath that joint ever so gently, like so. And boom, the bone comes out, and now we're left with a fully intact piece of leg meat that has no bone in it. Now, some of you might notice that there's a little bit of a kind of end cap here. That was part of the thigh joint. At that point, if it's still left on there, just go ahead, lift up the joint, gently cut it off, making sure your fingers are out of the way. Gently go ahead, cut that little joint piece off, and you're good to go. Now, as we can see, we have a fully deboned piece of chicken leg. Now you can go ahead, grill this up as is, season up with your favorite seasoning, throw it on the grill, throw it in the oven, or in some later videos, guys, I'm going to show you some other quick recipes that we can do with this. But for now, that's how you fully break down a chicken. Again, part one, we got the chicken, with the legs off, and that's how you take the actual bone. Sorry guys, as the camera went fuzzy there. So that's how you take the bone out of the leg as well. Again, in some future videos, I'll show you guys some more recipes that you can do with this. But there you go, that's how we've now fully break down the chicken. Okay, so I can see that my battery is currently dying, so I'm going to talk a little bit quickly. But anyways, that's the quick demo of how to fully actually take the bone out of an individual chicken leg. Again, maybe in the future I'll do it again so you guys can see down the line, and I'll show you guys some more recipes. But if you enjoyed this video and the last one, please go give them both a big thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, so before I end off this video for good, I realized I was just cleaning up everything, and I thought I should show you guys quickly that process. Well, not so much the process, but explain to you why the cleanup is one of the most important parts, having just worked with chicken or really any kind of raw meat or fish, but especially chicken, because of the risk of infection from salmonella and all the nasty things that come along with it, especially in these times right now. The last thing you want is to get sick. So as I'm quickly just cleaning up here, you can see the surface I was working on, I've completely cleaned with hot soapy water. All the utensils that I used, the cutting board, the tray, and my knife, are all sitting here currently drying. And the one thing that I like to use when I'm cleaning is white vinegar. Now, a lot of people might also use bleach, but I prefer to use the white vinegar. It cleans just the same as bleach, and of course it's a natural ingredient. So if maybe you forget to wipe a little bit off of your cutting board and go to cut something else, you're not going to hurt yourself. Whereas if you leave some bleach, some Javix or something on there, that could also cause some issues. But again, anytime you're working with chicken, one of the essential parts afterwards is proper cleanup. So make sure you wash anything that touches chicken with hot soapy water. And then I like to also rinse it off, or just give it a quick wipe down again, either with some bleach, or again, I like to use the vinegar, because it's more natural. It cleans the exact same way. And honestly, if you spray it on or something, it also smells not quite as bad as the bleach. So there you go. A little pro tip for you guys as well. As important as it is to obviously learn about it, the cleanup is the most essential part, especially if you have other people coming in to say your workstation. You don't want them to pick up anything. So remember, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video of the cooking of the chicken. Hope you guys learned something, but if you would take away only one thing from it, it's make sure you clean up properly after yourselves.